Our Go Public story has made many Canadians angry. We revealed on Sunday that one of Canada's biggest banks is replacing Canadian staff with temporary foreign workers. It is the most commented on story on our website all year. So how did it happen? That's what I would like to ask Kellie Leitch, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Human Resources and Skills Development. She joins me now from Ottawa. I'm so glad, Kellie Leitch, that you could take the time to talk to me. And I just want to let our viewers know, who perhaps might not, that a Parliamentary Secretary is an MP, assigned to assist a minister. So I'm wondering, as I speak with you, are you going to be speaking for the minister, representing her on this political issue?
Well, I am the Parliamentary Secretary for the Department of Human Resources and Skills Development, and I'm often asked to provide comment with respect to the department and what our government's position is on the files of our department. So I guess the answer to your question is yes.
Okay, because we did try Diane Finley, not available, but as I say, I'm glad that you made the time. Why couldn't she join us anyway? Do you know why?
The minister, I know, is just unavailable for personal reasons, and I just ask that you be respectful of that.
Okay, so let's go on to the story, because it's one that, has touched a nerve with Canadians, and that is workers who are Canadian being replaced by temporary foreign workers. I want to ask you, when you heard this story, did it surprise you at all? Did it make you feel anything?
Well, the government and myself, we take this very seriously, the concerns around the temporary foreign worker program. And, I was just recently in St. John's, where hearing about the challenges of labor shortages across the country. We have temporary labor shortages and more acute labor shortages in many areas of the country. And the temporary foreign worker program was set up to help fill those gaps when a Canadian was not available. And so we are concerned, very concerned about the temporary foreign worker program and the issues we've recently heard. The government came forward with an Economic Action Plan 2013 just recently, the budget in March, and stated that we will be fixing these issues around the temporary foreign worker program to make sure that Canadians have the first crack at jobs. We want to make sure that Canadians have opportunities for if there is ever a job available within the country, and only when there isn't a Canadian available that firms avail themselves of the temporary foreign worker program.
You know what, when you tell me you have to fix something, you have to assume that it was broken in the first place. How did it get broken?
Well, I think that the issue here is making sure that we deal with labor shortages. We've had a huge issue in Canada, and I think that it's mounting, of labor shortages. It's a critical issue, and it affects employers and employees. Whether it be in St. John's or my home province in Alberta, where I grew up, we're seeing these labor shortages across the country. Firms that can't find enough skilled workers in order to fill the roles they need in order to grow their firms and grow the economy.
But we're not saying that RBC couldn't fill those jobs, right? I mean, this was, we heard people on our program on Go Public saying, I was asked to train this person. Therefore, the person who was being let go could obviously do the job.
Well, and you're absolutely correct. We want Canadians to have the first crack at those Canadian jobs. And that's why we're examining what's going on in the temporary foreign worker program to make sure that it's doing just that, providing temporary foreign workers when a firm cannot fill that role with a Canadian. And so the officials at HRSDC, at Human Resources Skills Development, are looking at the permits that were submitted by iGate to make sure that they follow the rules. And we want to encourage firms to follow the rules, the spirit of the rules, which is not to replace a Canadian with a foreign worker. That's not the intent of the program. The intent of the program is to allow firms, when they cannot find a Canadian, to be able to meet their labor shortage needs.
Walk down this road with me for a moment, Ms. Leitch. What if they did follow the rules and there was nothing broken? Because that's what the CEO of RBC is saying, is that he believes that nothing was broken here, no laws were broken. What if they did follow all the rules? What does that tell you about the rules?
Well, I think that what we are examining and investigating is to make sure that those rules were applied appropriately, that we have made sure that we've done our due diligence and that we know the facts at Human Resources Skills Development, but at the same time that Canadians do come first in this country when a job is available that meets their talents. And so, I never want to be in a circumstance where I have a young Canadian, or an older Canadian for that matter, coming to me and saying, I applied for this job, I have a certain skill set. I could use the example of an orthopedic surgeon, which is what I am, and saying, someone from another country took that role that I was eligible for. we don't ever want to see that, and I think that's why you're seeing the reaction you are by Canadians with regards to this file. So we're doing our due diligence. We're examining the facts, making sure that these permits meet the appropriate criteria, and that Canadians were considered first for any roles that the labour market opinions were applied for.
How long do you think that's going to take? Because when I tell the kids, oh, I'll think about it, I'll look at it, you know, they roll their eyes at me.
No, your point is very well taken. You know, obviously our department is seized with this. It's extremely important to Canadians. It's very important to those individuals who are concerned about their jobs, and we put that first. We want to make sure that Canadians obviously have access to job, are well employed, and have a great quality of life. And so the due diligence is on us now to do this expediently and make sure that we can report back to those Canadians directly affected, but also to report back with respect to the temporary foreign worker program and what we'll be doing to make sure that it's meeting the needs of Canadians, that Canadians come first in line for Canadian jobs.
That kind of sounds like an answer I give my kids, expediently. Because it doesn't have an actual time limit on it, does it? I mean, it's easy to say that.
Well, I think that it's important, as I said, to make sure that Canadians know that we take this seriously. And I know that for myself, for my family, if we were affected by this type of event, we'd want an answer extremely quickly. And that's what, as I said, the Human Resources Department is seized with this. It's completely focused on making sure we get the facts and we get an answer back to Canadians as soon as possible.
I'm going to leave it there. Kellie Leitch, I want to thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Kellie Leitch is the Parliamentary Secretary to Diane Finley, who is the Minister of Human Resources and Skills Development.